Always Mine by SamadiW. Chapter 11. Humming a muggle tune, Hermione made her way to the Great Hall. Draco stayed in the dorm. Reluctantly, they parted ways. After last night's and today's erotic adventures, her stomach rumbled with hunger, and her legs felt like mush. She walked into the hall, holding her head high, thinking that a piece of toast and jam would be heavenly. Pleasantly surprised to find all her friends there, she settled in next to Ginny and reached for the platter of scrambled egg. Ron coughed purposely, and everyone turned their attention to the obviously peeved-off man. He sneered openly at Hermione and placed his arm on the table. She could see a long, deep gash along his arm that looked like it was healing.
"I hope you're happy,"
he spat at her through clenched teeth. She felt the anger rise in her. "Excuse me, but what the hell are you talking about?" Ron pointed to the cot and yelled in a fury,
"Malfoy's fucking handiwork after you walked in on us yesterday."
He banged his fist on the table, scattering food everywhere, and slowly rose to stand over Hermione. In a low, murderous tone, he hissed,
"Why does he care so much about you suddenly?"
The rest were looking at them flabbergasted, but they obviously had no clue what happened last night with growing interest. Harry spoke first.
"What the heck happened?"
Ginny looked at Hermione for answers.
"Yeah, what happened? What did Malfoy do this time?"
Hermione willed herself to stay calm. Malfoy didn't do anything. Why must everyone assume the worst of him? She added darkly, "But Ron sure did." His good boy image was about to crumble because of his alcohol addiction. Under the influence, he was a completely different man. He pointed to her friends staring at them and hissed, "Tell them, Ron Weasley. Tell them what you did to me last night." The voice cracked as she continued, "And what you would have done if Draco hadn't interrupted us." Ron's ears turned crimson and twitched in anger.
"Since when do you call the fucking Pharaoh by his name?"
Ginny almost screamed,
"Will anyone please tell us what happened last night?"
Ron sat back down and stared at the wall silently. Hermione started to speak, and she told him everything without holding back. She choked back a sob and pointed to her bruises. "And this is from where he had my hand." Eyes blazing, she yelled, "We are over, Ron." They all turned to the red-headed man in absolute fury. Ginny narrowed her eyes. She was absolutely livid.
"Why, you worthless!"
She lunged across the table to grab hold of her brother, but Harry caught her in time and rounded on his best friend.
"What a bloody hell! How dare you put your hands on her?"
Ginny spat through clenched teeth.
"I'm telling Mom everything."
Ron, glad that Hermione raised himself to his full height and defended weakly.
"Whatever. I don't have to sit here and take this shot from you guys."
He walked away without a second glance and out of the hall. Ginny tried to follow, but Harry held her back again.
"Let him go. He needs some serious alone time."
They turned to face Hermione with compassion and sadness etched on their faces. Ginny sat back down, took Hermione's hand in hers, squeezed it, and apologized profusely.
"I'm so sorry, Hermione."
Hermione gave a weak smile. "Please don't apologize for him. It had nothing to do with you." Her stomach rumbled again. Absent-mindedly, she reached for the closest thing. She buttered the piece of toast and bit into it ravenously. Draco put down the potions book in frustration. He could not concentrate on anything. Who was he kidding? Stepping out of the dorm, he made his way to the dungeons. Living in the hand room was comforting, not because of Granger, but because having his own space was appealing. Having to share one with 5 other boys had its disadvantages. There were odd instances where he missed his friends, though. This was one such instance. No sooner did he walk through the portrait, Theo greeted him cheerfully.
"Greetings, Lordship. Our head boy has graced us with his presence."
The lanky Slytherin bowed down low at Draco's feet. Blaise let out a low laugh and got up to high-five Theo. Shaking his hand, Draco settled down on the couch and called out,
"You fucking moron."
Theo wagged a stern finger and mused.
Now, please refrain from using profanity. I think of the fucking last years.
He sat back down. Blaise sat opposite him, and Pansy walked by, adjusting her short skirt. She did a quick double take when she saw Draco on the leather couch. She sashayed across to him, touched his arm, ran her fingers down his arm provocatively, and drawled hopefully, "Can't I come over tonight?" It had been ages since they slept together, and she missed him. Draco rolled his eyes before facing her.
"Such desperation, Pansy. If and when I want you, you will know."
She glared at him for a moment before softening. His indifference towards her made her want him more. Astoria passed by, grabbed Pansy's hand, and dragged her away, but not before flashing Draco a dazzling smile. He sighed in frustration. What was wrong with these girls today? It was like they knew he had a girlfriend. He smiled at the word girlfriend. Theo sipped a butterbeer and exclaimed excitedly,
"Oh, I'm so glad you aren't in the dorm anymore. Girls actually look at us now."
Blaise threw him a look of disgust.
"Ugh, speak for yourself. I was fine either way."
Draco waved his hand, leaned forward, and said seriously,
"Look, all fucking around aside, I've got some news to share with you."
Theo swallowed and asked in fear,
"It's not some Death Eater shot, is it?"
Blaise leaned forward and muttered,
"Oh, are you in trouble, mate?"
Draco laughed out loud.
"Well, trouble, yes. I'm dating Granger."
The boys sat in stunned silence for a good 10 minutes or so. Each opened their mouth to say something and then closed it again. Even Theo was speechless. Blaise finally found his voice and broke the silence.
"Oh, I fucking knew that."
Draco rolled his eyes. Blaise had called him out, but he never admitted how he felt about her. Shrugged it off and let sleeping dogs lie. Theo looked at Blaise in disbelief.
"You fucking knew and didn't tell me. You fuckers are the worst."
Blaise patted Draco on the back approvingly.
"This is a good thing, mate."
Put his arms around Theo and ruffled his hair.
"It's not your fault you're so slow."
Theo pushed him away and frowned. Hermione spent an enjoyable day with her friends. Ron had completely disappeared, and she was delighted he kept his distance. Harry and Ginny were firmly on her side. They knew Ron was wrong in treating her, and planned to have a real heart-to-heart with him. She would do the same after things settled down between them. Ron slept once before and kissed Lavender Brown at another party they had in a common room. He had begged and pleaded for her to take him back, and she had forgiven him because she blindly believed he was the one. Mistake number 1. It should have ended there. Despite being with her friends, she missed Draco. Bidding her friends a fond farewell, Hermione almost ran to the dorm. When she entered, a voice teased,
"What took you so long? I've been waiting for hours."
His mouth descended on hers and pulled her to him. He kissed her passionately, pushing his tongue inside her mouth. She met his tongue eagerly with hers. It was a sublime state of bliss. They lay entwined on the sofa. Draco casually ran his long fingers through Hermione's.
"So, how was your day?"
he asked casually. She told him all that happened in the Great Hall, and he told her how funny it had been when he told Blaise and Theo. He kissed her forehead, and she asked timidly, "Are we going public with our relationship?" Draco gave it some thought. He knew the dangers, but he felt stronger with her. His eyes hardened, and a trace of bitterness crept into his voice.
"It's not easy, Granger. Everyone around us will be against us, but I don't care anymore."
He cupped her face and gazed into her eyes.
"I'm falling for you, Hermione."
He was, and there wasn't a damn thing he could do about it. Hermione broke out of his embrace and touched his cheek. He leaned into her touch. "I know what you mean. I've never felt this way about anyone." She bit her lip and mused. "I'm utterly surprised I would fall for you, though. I mean, come on. Out of all the people one could fall for." He grabbed her across the waist and tickled her.
"Oh, you think so?"
He fell off the couch, laughing. Looking over at the sleeping figure next to her, Hermione smiled. He was asleep on his stomach, his arm casually over the edge of silk sheets, barely covering his naked body. With a deep sigh of contentment, she fondly recalled how they ended up in his bed again. She had been studying in her room and finishing her homework when she heard a knock. Knowing who it was, she had not bothered to cover herself too much and enthusiastically went to open the door in her teddy-bear nightdress that barely covered her buttocks. Draco had been standing there with a tub of ice cream, chocolate sauce, and a tray of strawberries. Who would have pegged him as the romantic type? Hermione laughed in his face and then let him in. They had been having a great time, laughing, talking, and feeding each other, when a tap at the window distracted them, and Hermione recognized the school owl. She opened the window, took the attached letter, and read it.
My darling, please don't be mad at me. You're my everything, and I'm sorry for hurting you. Please meet me tomorrow in the audible classroom and let's talk about us. I know you love me as much as I love you. Forever yours, Ron.
Draco took one look at the letter and tore it up. The letter meant nothing to her, but she still wanted the friendship. He watched her toss thither and pace up and down, wearing out her carpet. Without uttering a word, Hermione patiently waited for him to start. Draco growled.
No way I'm letting you meet that fucking lunatic alone.
He added seriously,
That is not happening, Hermione.
She loved how he switched to Hermione when he was distraught. She touched his arm and smiled. I have to meet him. I need closure.
Closure my ass,
he thought bitterly. She cupped his face and pleaded, Please trust me. He looked at her in anger and, without a word, stormed out of her room. Giving him adequate time to calm the fuck down, she raided her drawers and settled on a matching dark green lacy lingerie set. Hermione stared at her skimpy attire and frowned in thought. When the heck had she bought this? Wanting to reassure him that she was his now, she tried to wear Slytherin colors. Ick! Her nerves were getting the better of her. Heading to their shared kitchen, Hermione grabbed a butterbeer, drank half, gathered her Gryffindor bravado, and boldly knocked on the door. Within seconds, he opened. His eyes roamed over her hungrily. With a typical cocky Malfoy smile, he pulled her towards him and closed the door. To be continued. Thank you for listening to this story. I really hope you all enjoyed it, and if you enjoy my stories, please consider subscribing to this channel. You will always be up to date on the upcoming chapters and new stories. I have something very big planned for October and also for Christmas, so you won't miss anything that's going on this channel, and it would really mean a lot to me, so I'd really appreciate it. And as always, if you would like to stay up to date on upcoming chapters and stories, you can follow me either here, you can check out my Spotify, or also on AO3.